Hey friends, welcome into another edition of 4 Minutes on Friday. Today I'm going to talk about something that is actually we're going to talk about here, I think in a couple of weeks, and then it's going to be a part of a larger conversation on a podcast that I'm a part of. And I'll link all of those things when that time comes. So I'm just going to touch on this in part of what we're talking about here today. And that is the idea of being self-differentiated. This comes out of the work of a guy by the name of Edwin Friedman, and some of his life's work that was really captured before his death in the 90s. But the idea of being self-differentiated for the purposes of today really revolves around the difference and interaction between feeling and listening. Part of the job that I have as pastor, one of the jobs that I have as pastor, is get called in and asked to counsel and give people kind of, for lack of a better term, give people advice on a particular thing, or whether it be a parenting thing or something a student is wrestling with. And that has just become a part of the daily activity of part of my job. And because of the way that I am wired, I tend to be kind of a feeler, and emotive. That's one of my high intelligences is in the kind of emotional intelligence category. Is I tend to feel with people. And one of the things that I learned right away. Well, I don't know that I learned it right away. I think that it took a while for me to make sure that I was practicing this in a healthy way, is the difference between listening and engaging with people and just connecting with them on an emotional level, feeling what they're feeling. I have always felt, I think this is the part of some of my training and even some of my growing up experience, is the importance of connecting with people on emotional levels. That matters. I'm also kind of a hack musician, and so emotions play a big role in music. But in the counseling and conversation part of what I do, it is extraordinarily important for me not just to connect on an emotional level. Because quite honestly, my emotions can be manipulated. Your emotions can be manipulated. And we can, if we are only engaging on an emotional level, it has the great opportunity to remove some of the objectivity that people may very well need in the conversation they're having with you. Objectivity sometimes is cold. Objectivity is sometimes harsh. But when we are talking with other people, and this isn't true just of counseling type of settings. I think this is true in parenting, in our whether it be marriage or dating relationships. That it is important not just to connect with the other person that you're talking to on an emotional level, but to be objective and honest with them in those moments. Now, of course, we could spend a lot of time talking about how dangerous, blatant, brutal, and unfiltered honesty can be at times. So obviously there has to be some caution in telling the truth, some caution in the feelings that other people are wrestling with. But more often than not, and again, my dad's words are ringing in my ears a lot these days. My dad would always say, the truth is the truth. There's no hiding the truth. You might be able to dodge it for a little while, but the truth is always the truth. And if we are honest with those that have trusted us to speak into their lives, and we bring that honesty with a great deal of compassion, I just don't think that we can go wrong in that. And this is part of being self-differentiated. And I know we're already over our time by over a minute now. So I'm going to talk more about being self-differentiated in a couple of weeks. If you have some curiosity on that, there are some resources out there. There's a great synopsis that's available. It's a PDF that you can download for free. And I'll probably even link that in the description below. But just as you think about the conversations that you have, the way that you engage with people, are you listening or are you just feeling? Because I've been caught on the side of just feeling and have made some mistakes, have reacted instead of responded. So consider that this Friday or whenever it is that you listen to this. Always good to have a little bit of time with you. We'll see you next week.